It's 5 jobs that are likely to disappear in the next 10 years. Number 5 is so common it might even be your job. Number 1 is manufacturing jobs and machine workers. I mean, AI is already making these jobs obsolete. And unlike workers, you don't have to pay a robot. I mean, the cost of labor is constantly going up whilst the cost of automation is actually going down. And that leads into number 2, which is fast food workers like McDonald's. I mean, there's a McDonald's location which is already fully automated. Plus, they've even got these little robots. Unfortunately, if you work in fast food, your job is at risk. Number 3 is customer service and call center. I mean, as AI gets more advanced and less expensive, these jobs unfortunately don't need a person to run it. Number 4 is truck driving jobs and other driving jobs. I mean, Tesla's already made an automated self-driving truck, so it's only a matter of time until these guys lose a job. Finally, number 5 is retail jobs. I mean, almost every shop has a self-checkout now, and most people prefer them to actual humans. So if you want to know careers that are high—
Hello everyone. I don't know much about all this AI, artificial intelligence malarkey. It just hurts my head. What I do know, though, is that this will take a lot of British workers' jobs for certain. I've heard some people call it a new industrial revolution. Think of the impact it had on farmers during the age of steam and factories in Manchester in the 1900s. This is something none of us will be able to ignore. It seems to me we are being hit from all sides at the same time with this amount of change. Makes me glad I was born in the 1950s. What a world we live in.
Alright, so honestly, yeah, people are definitely going to lose their jobs to AI. That is just a fact. That is absolutely a fact. Listen, I was about when self-scans were coming about, okay? And the amount of people that lost their jobs to self-scans was absolutely unbelievable. And anyone that tells you, oh, people are not going to lose their jobs, yeah, you're idiots. And I'll tell you why this is. Because why would you pay 10 workers when you could technically have 2 robots? Just think about it, alright? And then you got the list of jobs, okay, that can be overtaken by robots. Now, I'm going to be honest, retail is one of them. If you're in retail or you work in like Tesco's, Aldi, Sainsbury's or any of these American stores or whatever it is, yeah, I'd probably think of changing my job, because eventually, right, AI technology will start taking over retail, and they're gonna need less and less workers. The only trade that I think will be very, very hard to take over from AI is going to be building. Building is just going to be incredibly hard, yeah, for AI to just take over building. Anyone that builds houses, carpentry, has to go out on site. Your job's pretty much going to be safe. But this is what they had to say about it. Up to 8 million UK workers could lose their jobs to AI with current government policy. The Institute for Public Policy Research, IPPR, has warned. In a report published on Wednesday, 27th of March, the think tank said AI already impacts 11% of tasks done by the UK workers, which could rise to 60% if organisations integrate the emerging technology further.
Let me be clear, this isn't a future thing. It's already happening and it's only going to accelerate. I mean, have you noticed how many really capable people you know have lost their jobs lately, and how even they are struggling to land something even just mediocre? And maybe you're one of them. And sure, the economy is part of it, but the bigger shift is AI. Jobs in marketing, admin, customer service, even legal are already being automated or phased out. So some roles are disappearing, others are being hollowed out, which means more work, fewer people, less security. And while it hasn't hit every industry yet, the writing's on the wall. AI is moving faster than most organisations or workers can keep up with. So if you're a generalist, someone who wears many hats, connects dots, adapts fast, this is both a risk and an opportunity. So ask yourself these 3 questions. 1, what kind of work will actually hold up in the AI era? 2, what do I genuinely want to be doing? And 3, how do I take back control before everything shifts around me? Because staying passive is the risk now.
jobs that will be taken over by AI. I just want to point out a few behind me. So just take a look at this chart. Obviously, there's a lot of American wording here. I tried to find the best chart that I could. This one here, I want to pick apart a couple, right, to be aware of. I said this on a video not too long ago, and people were telling me it's absolute rubbish. You can look at the plans on Google. You can see the articles. One of the big ones, taxi drivers, but in London and around the UK, Uber. AI will wipe out a lot of those drivers. I had some guy say to me, Aaron, are you delusional? We'll never lose taxi drivers or Uber drivers. Go onto Google and type in automated roads in London for AI vehicles where you will order it on your phone. A vehicle will turn up. I mean, they're already running prototypes. You're probably talking in the next 10 years. But just think of the mass redundancies that will be made and all the drivers that won't be needed who are self-employed. Because AI, there will be a car that will pull up with no driver and it will take you to a destination on an automated road which is fully calculated and rigged up to all of its automation systems and stuff like that, and it will drop you off. The other thing is like paralegals, so like legal assistants, right? So anyone who's in like admin work for legal, again, all automated, right? You know, most of the stuff now, ChatGPT can write you contracts, legal contracts, so you mitigate and you basically don't have to do the first part with a legal advisor. You can send them the draft just to sign off. So you're basically saving money, right? Receptionists, security guards, bartenders, that's an interesting one. I haven't got too much to say around that. Financial advisors, a computer will be able to give you better advice rather than a financial advisor just trying to push you into one of their highest commission, you know, companies, however much they get paid. And then obviously you've got your ones that dramatically drop off here, but the two to look at really, retail, taxi drivers, a lot of problems there. Also, if we tie in actually like receptionist clerks, legal assistants, let's just tie that into like customer service and outbounding, inbounding call centres in the UK. I'm sorry, if you're in a call centre and you have to make calls or take calls, a robot can do that job. Like look at all the prototypes with Meta, Google, you know, all these different types of tech firms that are producing high quality human conversations where they're responding. I'm not talking about, you know, when you ring up like Vodafone and it's like, please wait one moment. I'm not on about that. We're talking advanced technology where they can answer questions. They extract data from all around the world like ChatGPT in seconds. And the thing is, imagine that in a call center, you've got 100 people on a floor and you've got 95 of them that are computers that don't get emotional when customers shout. They'll produce better answers and they can run for the full 10, 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week. It's insane. So I think it would be naive not to at least consider the industry that you're in. How does AI, one, affect it? Does it make you redundant, or does it integrate with your job and can you work alongside it? Or does it really reduce your workforce? Or if you're starting a business, build it in. Like I'm always looking at how can I build AI into my businesses. I mean, my businesses are very lean. They're quite automated. They don't really get too affected by some of the changes that you can see here in the jobs. But I do integrate where I can to automate and make things a lot slicker. Not only for me, but for, you know, my customers and stuff like that. So it's food for thought. Just don't be naive to the fact that this shit is coming, right? You know, there's too many people that are like, oh, I'm going to worry about it. It's not going to affect my job. You know, I do packing or whatever. You go have a look at some of the warehouses in Amazon. You have a look at those bots. That's scary.
For sure, let's do it. Little video. Hey. Sweet. Thanks, man. Bro. Appreciate it. Of course, anytime. All right. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Tremendous.
Doing good.
Peace, everybody.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Nice.
I love the change. How's everybody doing?
Order a drink. Doing good. All right.
Then step right up.
Can I have a watermelon fogarita?
Amazon's CEO has come out to say that AI is going to result in a loss of workers at Amazon. And what's unique about this news is that this is the first company that is part of the AI revolution that has actually come out and admitted that it will lose its own workers due to AI. This shouldn't be surprising to anyone. Artificial intelligence is completely revolutionizing all industries. No industry will be immune to this. I guess the thing to be fearful of isn't the impact that AI will have on the job market as a whole, because it will have an impact. I think it's estimated that about 60% of roles will be impacted by artificial intelligence. What I think is worth being nervous about is the pace of change. If the pace at which AI is causing a reduction in jobs is faster than the pace at which AI is creating new jobs, then we have a problem, because it means that there isn't sufficient time, there isn't sufficient resources for people to be able to retrain, to be able to get into new positions. So I think that's where we have the problem. If somehow the pace at which jobs are created is greater, then we don't have any problem, right? Because it means that we just need, people to retrain, to be able to take advantage of some of the changes in the job market. There are different sort of quotes about when this transformation will sort of occur. It's already occurring, but a lot of companies believe that by 2035, about 60% of jobs would have completely been transformed as a result of AI. So if you're currently in a position where you think you might be susceptible to some of these changes in AI, particularly if you're in a job where the tasks are repetitive, the best advice I can give you is to go online, to research some of the emerging jobs due to AI, and then look up how you can begin to sort of learn about those areas. Pick one or two or three areas and look up resources. They're typically free resources for AI, about how you can begin to sort of develop your skill set.
Stuff is starting in earnest now. This is BT cutting 55,000 jobs with up to a fifth to be replaced by AI. When AI first came out, there was tons of people saying, it's not going to be that bad, blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking, you're joking, right? It's going to be bad. Things are going to change really fast. Give a company an opportunity to cut costs or do things faster, and it will take that opportunity. That is how businesses are. That's how business runs. Here's the chief executive saying, when you get new technologies, you can make bigger changes. What he basically means is you can do things faster, more easily, and at lower cost, so you can drive more profit, which is fine. That's the business's prerogative. And here he credits those exact things: faster, better, and more seamless. I would be making this decision too. If I was the chief executive of BT, I'd go for efficiency, newer technology, reduced headcount, and a faster, lower cost operation. I mean, some of this will be to do with the fact that nobody actually uses a phone anymore, though I know that's not all that BT does. I'm not even sure what the best advice to give people is, other than make sure you're on the side of the people who use the AI. Much as I really dislike what AI will do to society on so many levels, I also think from a business point of view, which relates to all of us and our own businesses, or all of us and our ability to earn what we want to earn, you need to get onto the side of the people who use AI and who can demonstrate that when they go into a business, they're somebody who is forward thinking, who uses AI and will help the business get what the business wants. And what the business wants is always going to come down to more sales, faster pace of execution, and managing costs as well as possible. So get on the side of the AI and learn how to use it so that you can be one of those people who can deliver the outcome the business wants, not somebody who doesn't want to know about AI, who doesn't want to use it, who refuses to engage with it, because there's a risk you're going to end up on the side of job losses.
So the big homies from PwC have just released this report. It's called the Fearless Future 2025 Global AI Jobs Barometer. And effectively, this report is telling us that the job growth in industries where there is a greater exposure to AI, obviously there is a decline in the jobs in those industries. Why? Because AI is taking them. Now, I've been saying this for a long time, and I've had to caveat that as well, because I still feel that AI hasn't really peaked in terms of its cost, because it's heavily subsidized. That being said, businesses are taking note, right? And it's still going to be, even if the price of AI increases double or triple, it will still probably be cheaper than people. So it will take a time to rebalance between the cost of AI versus the cost of humans in terms of, finding that replacement cost. However, today, businesses are taking this stuff very seriously. And as a result, the jobs that are affected by AI are declining. That being said, I think the important thing to note here, right, because this is kind of obvious, right? The important thing to note here is that the rate and the speed at which AI has taken over jobs, or at least taking over parts of jobs which were historically seen as safe, like professional services, legal, consulting, engineering, accounting, these types of things, the rate and the speed at which it's doing that is probably something that many of us were not ready for. I definitely wasn't. So anyway, the point is here, guys, if you read reports like this, yes, they might be stating the obvious, but it is a good reminder, a good kick in the ass that we got to take this stuff seriously, and we've got to future-proof ourselves. If we don't, we're screwed. Anyway, guys, that's me. Have a look at this report. I found it very interesting, even though it was kind of telling me stuff that I knew.
You may have noticed it too. More and more people are losing their jobs. In fact, research shows that 35% more people have their statuses as open to work on LinkedIn compared only to last year alone. So we're getting older. Some people are having maybe health issues in their lives. We are facing challenges with job displacement. Yes, and I have to keep stressing, there's the opportunity set with AI for the people, and I'll come to solutions in a minute, who actually take advantage of it. But for a lot of people who are just completely sleeping at the wheel, it's a big problem ahead. What can we do? Number one, and I cannot stress this enough, this needs to become a state of emergency in your household. I'm not saying panic. I'm saying you need to raise it in priority to the very top of the list. Because if you are not making this a state of emergency, then you're not going to do anything about it. Because guess what? You will just get distracted like everybody gets distracted. You spend all your time scrolling on your phone, getting, giving yourself that dopamine hit in different ways, when in actual fact, you need to be pausing and asking yourself, hang on a second, what's going on? What do I need to be doing right now, next week, the week after, to help me and my family? You need to be fighting for your future. This has to be raised to that level.
A new study finds that 8 million jobs in the UK are going to be impacted by AI, especially those that women have and Gen Zs have. And I think that every job is going to be touched by AI. There's going to be a lot of layoffs. There's going to be a lot of new jobs being created. There's going to be a lot of jobs where you have to interact with AI. And by a lot, I mean all of them. And so we're going to see more and more headlines with these types of kind of layoffs and projections moving forward.
AI is going to eat a lot of jobs. A new report came out today that said the type of tasks that AI can do is going to double every 7 months. You have to think bigger and act bigger about what to do about it. Things like universal basic income, creating a caring and nurturing economy around human values. That's really the only way out. I enjoyed my friend Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson's recent book, Abundance. That's what we have to be going for. We have to go for abundance, or else AI is going to push us into scarcity.
Years. It took me years to learn this, and now anyone can just type a sentence. I'm sorry, Chloe. It's just more efficient this way. The robot makes a perfect cup every time. But I love working here.
They don't need me anymore. AI can create stunning visuals now, cheaper too. It's over.
Well, he always remembers our anniversary, and he never complains about my cooking. After 3 human husbands, that's a refreshing change.
Now my camera just gathers dust. A single prompt and the AI creates what took me a lifetime to learn.
I used to design logos, websites, Now some program does it in seconds. Funny how the future works, isn't it?
In the next 5 to 10 years, 8 million UK jobs could be at risk. So we have 34 million jobs in total, and 8 of those could be at risk if we just use AI to automate people, and it can, existing AI is good enough to automate quite a lot of tasks. So that's definitely a risk. And what needs to be done is that unions, but also government and civil society needs to say, we don't want this technology to just be used to automate jobs away and cut costs. We want this to be used in a way that makes jobs better, and that perhaps allows people to spend more time on the face-to-face interaction.
40,000 jobs gone overnight, all because of AI. You heard right, a UK telecom company is cutting tens of thousands of positions, not for profits, not for offshoring, for AI. The cold, hard truth, technology does not care about your years of service, your expertise, or your mortgage payment. It optimizes, automates, moves on. The gut punch is real, but so is this opportunity. If you don't adapt, you get left behind. But if you learn how to apply AI before your competitors do, you can actually secure your future. Want to get smarter about where business and tech are going? Make sure you're following at Think Smartly.
Jobs that are going to be less impacted, in my opinion, are jobs that do have the human touch, the human element in them. So, for example, nurses are going to be disrupted a lot later than doctors are going to be.
Why doctors?
Professions that do use a lot of data and do use knowledge to work. You have a machine that can process a lot more data than you can and can store a lot more knowledge that you do. So eventually, it's going to be better than I am.
Everybody is next. We're already seeing 3D printed homes. No contractors, no construction crews, no local employment, just a machine spitting out walls while the labour force becomes obsolete. Customer service is now just made up of machines. Copywriting is made up of bots, and design, that's all AI. Logistics, transport, education, healthcare admin, legal research. Every single industry is being prepped for being phased out. So when you're defending AI art with "it's his money, he can do what he wants," true, but what you're really saying is, it's okay to erase the bottom line as long as the guy on top is rich enough to do it. This isn't about creativity evolving at all. This is about skipping over humans entirely, choosing convenience over community and doing it publicly like it's a flex. And the reason it starts with artists is because nobody protects them. That's the way it's been for centuries. And we've pushed back on automation before when it affected miners, factory workers, drivers and retail staff. But when it comes to artists, the people who benefit from their work every single day say, lol, it's not that deep. And it is exactly that deep, because when someone with millions of followers and millions in the bank still chooses AI over real people, what happens when the rest of the world follows that example? And instead of outrage, we get comments like, AI is here to stay, lol. No shit, AI is here to stay. So is war, so is poverty, so is climate change. Presence is not justification. And sometimes I think just how blissful it must be to live like some of the people defending this. No critical thought, no awareness of history, and no idea what's coming. Just bumbling through life and chowing down on algorithmic slop and calling it the future. If your definition of progress is mass job erasure disguised as convenience, that's not forward thinking. You're just gullible. So no, this isn't just about one AI music video. This is about a future where no job is safe. No job is future-proof. And if you're too busy clapping along to realize that you're next, you deserve what's coming.
I think that OpenAI might have just made half of the world's management consultants lose their jobs. And no one is talking about this. What is going on? So if you haven't found out yet, because no one is talking about this, OpenAI just a couple of days ago released their Deep Research, which is a research assistant that can pretty much do any type of market research on any topic, where it's pretty much a domain expert and is pretty much impeccable at giving you answers which are relatable with sources in the type of format that you want. Now, if you work with any type of knowledge work, like within administration, white collar work, this might be the moment.
Right, I'm logging off now. I will see you all in the next video. Keep that chin up and take care.